So you're asking a question about mindfully eating.
Yes.
All right. To start off, there is a passage in the Sutta number 2 in the um, Sabha Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya number 2, where it talks about it, and that this is used at Wat Suan Mok and other places as a food reflection, in the sense of the reason that we eat is for the maintenance and health of the body, not for beautification, not for fattening, not for sports, not for buildup or diets or anything like that, but only for the maintenance continuance of the body. So that's the frame of reference that we're using. So within that, the way to talk about it is that when you're eating, eat and pay attention to your eating. Now, one of the ways that the monks practice is that if you probably noticed, mostly when people are eating, they're playing with their food while they're eating. In other words, they're looking at the next French fry, or that they're picking it up, or that they're playing with their, stirring their food around in the bowl, looking for the next morsel, etc., like that. And actually, you could say then that humans are very visual oriented, that the food tastes according to what it looks like. And we pay more attention to what the food looks like than what it tastes like. And that's actually especially true for expensive restaurants, where the preparation of the food is all about what it looks like on the plate, as opposed to what it actually is and what it tastes like. And so one of the ways of then to practice is that while you're eating, to put the fork, spoon, and knife down. Or in the case of the monks, they withdraw their hand from the bowl. That in fact, in India, many people, and in Sri Lanka in general, people eat with their hands. The Thai people eat more like the Chinese, when they've got those big soup spoons and they've got chopsticks and whatever like that. But it really is also a finger food country, to where finger food, like in America, would be a hamburger. You want to take the hamburger and keep it wrapped up in the paper or the plastic paper. But in some countries, they eat noodles with their fingers. So, in the time of the Buddha, they didn't have any cutlery. So they ate with their hands, and when they're not, let us say, preparing, let us say, a rice ball that's got rice and moisture and some vegetables, maybe some meat or whatever, and you pull it into a little bowl, a ball, and then you pop the ball into your mouth, then you do nothing with your hands, and you start to pay complete attention to what's inside your mouth. So you draw your attention inside the mouth and begin to look at what's going on in there, tasting, feeling, mostly. Rolling around the teeth, the food in, so that you can get the teeth to cut into it, break it up. And then the way to do it would be to suck the juice out, swallow that, and then continue chewing and taking the juice out and swallowing that until everything is a pulp. Now, I have seen Westerners talk about it in the sense of chewing your food completely well by counting the number of chews that you do. This is not necessary to count it. In fact, that's stupid because while you're counting, you're not paying attention to what you're eating. But full attention on the morsels in the mouth, and swallowing just a little bit, swallowing the juice, swallowing maybe a little of the pulp until there is nothing left. The Buddha talks about it in the sense of not even one grain of rice. And so you run your tongue around your teeth and everything, and when the mouth now is completely empty because you've chewed and swallowed everything that was in that ball of food, now you pick up the utensils, and now you put your hand back in the bowl, etc., and prepare the next morsel that you're going to chew on. If you practice that way, it will take a lot longer to eat. And your food is better ready to be digested. To where you'll see animals that are, let us say, in a position of fear that another animal is going to get it. Dogs are especially that way, is that when they get a big chunk of, say, chicken, maybe a chicken drumstick or something, they'll carry it off. And then they'll take big bites and swallow it quickly. All right? A lot of humans eat that way too. They're in a hurry. And so the practice of slowing down and paying attention to what one is eating, that's the way to practice mindfulness of eating, or mindfulness while eating. Another thing that you can add to that would be the breathing, so that as you're chewing your food, you're also breathing. Be mindful of the breath as you breathe in. That in fact, when you're eating food, it's hard to breathe if you've got a cold, because when you're chewing food, your mouth is closed, and therefore you're going to be breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose. And so some people, when they've got a head cold and they can't breathe through the nose, that means that they're going to swallow their food really quickly so that they can take a breath. All right, so all of those things would go into what would be called mindfulness while eating. Now, there are some places, I've seen this in Zen, and I've seen this with some Westerners, that they think that eating is kind of a contest, that they've got to be finished before the master is finished. When he stops eating, everybody stops eating. So they're in a hurry to eat. But if the master himself is practicing mindfulness of eating, as it would be specified with the Buddha, then everybody can take their time and chew correctly and properly. That in fact, I recommend one Western monk to leave the wat that he was in, because the German monks there were doing that Japanese style of eating as fast as they could so that they'd be finished before the master is finished. And that's not the practice of the Buddha. That's competition, rather than mindfully eating, which is really paying attention to what you're eating. So you have any questions about that?
Yes, I mean, I definitely find that food in front of me. In terms of the flavor, um, so yesterday when I was eating, um, I done like a short fast for maybe 20 hours, and then I had the food. Then I was just noticing as I was eating it, my mind just goes crazy into the flavors, oh, garlic, oh, crispiness. Um, you stay above the flavor, if that makes sense, and just watch it.
I'm not sure that you would call it that. I would be sure to say, however, is experience the flavors. To experience the food that you're eating. The textures, the taste, the aromas, the hardness, the softness.
Then what about the pleasure from it?
actually, if you pay attention to it this way, the pleasure of it is not so important anymore. That in fact, the pleasure is a factor of greed because people eat fast and they don't experience the flavors very well. And so they're the ones who were really interested in the flavor. Sort of like an example would be that you can take a very small sip of something, maybe syrup or Coca-Cola or maybe a wine or something. But if people really are greedy for the flavor of it, they'll gulp it down. Guzzle, 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 as opposed to sipping it and paying close attention to it. That you probably know about wine tasting, that wine tasting is not about the drinking of the wine. It's about the paying attention to the aroma, paying attention to what they call the bouquet, paying attention to the taste of the wine. And that's what is done for all of the eating when practicing in the style of the Buddha. And so it's not about pleasure, not for beautification, not for pleasure. It's only for the nourishment and well-being of the body. So pay close attention to the flavors because they're just flavors. The greed, in fact, you know what I'm talking about, that when you're really greedy for the taste, you try to eat it quickly. You want to put more and more and more of it in your mouth to get maximum pleasure, and you're actually not getting the pleasure out of it because you're too busy eating and swallowing to actually pay attention to the flavors.
Interesting. But yeah, I think that's how I've eaten my whole life. It's just my parents used to hate it. Just slow down, and I still do. It's only now I'm trying to change that and eat more mindfully. And after a while, I mean, just yesterday doing it for the first time, the food just feels like matter almost, not even flavor, matter in the mouth.
All right. So I think we've pretty well covered that topic. Do you have another question?
Yes. The next question was, so I joined the Open Sangha Foundation website, and
Uh-huh.
under your profile, I saw a long, the sort of just a description, and in there you were saying things like about people. So let's say if someone does something, they have every right to do that, just as we do. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's what the
Actually, I'm not too familiar with that. I know that something got posted in one of those places,
okay.
but I don't remember what it is. I didn't ever pay attention to it. I had the idea that it needs to be removed, but haven't gotten around to removing it.
Oh. It was something pointing towards the lines of when dealing with people, and I think it was coming more into the way we judge people in our life. Let's say it could be something as simple as, I don't know, someone being upset or angry next to you or sitting next to you in a not very nice way, and just accepting it and just understanding like that person can do that. Like it doesn't need to affect you, if that makes sense. I think maybe it was pointing towards the meta Buddhism. It was, yeah. So I don't know if I've lost you.
Well, um, all right. Let's start with this. Metta was not a teaching of the Buddha.
Oh,
He did not teach metta. He taught removal from dukkha, dissatisfaction. People who are practicing metta all generally create dissatisfaction. They see the dissatisfaction in the other person, and then they use metta to try to smooth over it. It's almost like metta is a paring knife that's trying to remove all of the brown spots off of the cauliflower or something. Okay, and the Buddha didn't practice that. He practiced it's important for you to get your mind straightened out and forget about all of those other people. That would be the difference then between the Theravada, which is called by the Mahayana the Hinayana, the little boat, big boat. Have you heard about those distinctions? Okay. Mahayana came much later, centuries after the teaching of the Buddha, and they have the idea that all beings have to be happy. They have a thing called the Bodhisattva vow. May all beings be enlightened before I get enlightened. And that's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. Hasn't happened ever. We've had, let's say, dozens, if not hundreds, maybe even thousands of people who have become enlightened in the past 2,500 years. But there's never, ever been an occasion where you could walk down the street and not see suffering everywhere you go. So, that idea of trying to fix other people, you can just forget about it. That in fact, to think that you can fix other people is actually means, and you reverse it, is that, oh, that means that I've got to go find someone else, maybe a guru or a teacher or a doctor or something to fix me. This is the whole basis of Christianity, is that you need a plastic Jesus on the dashboard of your truck or you're going to crash into a tree. You need Jesus, right? That's their whole teaching. And the point about the teaching of the Buddha is, with the Four Noble Truths, the second noble truth, if you understand it correctly, you understand that only you can stop your own dukkha, because it's you that has to stop your ignorance, stop your stupidity, stop your own delusions about your wants and desires and delusions and all of that kind of stuff, that only you can fix you. So the example that you could use is a guy goes to the piano teacher once a week, and once a week the piano teacher hears what he's playing on the piano and makes some corrections for him. She can see his fingering, etc., like that. But sitting in the meditation hall, nobody knows what's on in your mind. You can't read other people's minds. The only thing you can do is read their posture. Well, that's a great pointer, especially when people are not mindful of their posture. And so they give away all kinds of information about their mind. But someone who is mindful of the posture, you don't know what they're thinking. So how can you fix them? All right, so don't worry about other people. Worry about, can you be fine? Can you be okay, even if you're sitting on some transit, a bus or a train or something, and you can't change seats that you're in because it's a full house? But you can, in fact, sit beside someone who is being obnoxious to other people around them, and you're paying them no attention. That all you can actually do is to, let us say, be overflowing with your own joy, that you can smile at other people, knowing that people like to be smiled at. They don't like to be fussed at, but they like to be smiled at. They want to be acceptable. To where a real Dhamma doesn't care about being accepted, because he knows that acceptance is not going to solve any of his problems. Only he can solve his own problems. That our society teaches us to go out and look for love. And everybody winds up looking for love in all the wrong places. In the bars, in the brothels, at the dance hall, the discos, if they still got any of those around, okay? And they're not, nobody ever finds love in a bar or a disco. You're much better likely to go to a Wat and find acceptance there. But the real teaching of the Buddha is, why do you want love? They say, some of them, the ordinary people, those who have been indoctrinated into Christianity, would say, love yourself. But that's not really the case. The reality is that you don't need love. You're already okay the way you are. You don't need to be loved. You don't have to love yourself because you're already okay. Love is not healing. And yet that's what our society teaches. You don't need to love the guy next to you. What you need to do instead is get yourself out of your own dissatisfactions. It's almost like that love is kind of a medicine. It's a salve that heals your wounds. Well, if you don't have any wounds, you don't need any medicine. If you're not wounded, if you're healthy, you don't need any pills. And so you don't need to give any pills or medicine to other people, but a smile will do. You've probably heard, the word doctor is shortened to DR. Well, I would prefer to have the initials RD, which stands for Reader's Digest, because in that magazine they had an article every month they come out with it, and that article was always, laughter is the best medicine. So laugh and smile at people. That's the medicine. But you don't have to love them. Because the laughter and the smiles comes within you. And you're not trying to fix those people. So does that answer that question?
Yes, very deeply. Yes, very interesting. I think, yeah, like I spoke to you about last time, I think the whole way I've lived my life is so resistful and always trying hard, working hard. It's a bit routine, but like just turning that around and just chilling and just letting things happen and doing things and not
See, everything that you used to call work, see it as a toy to play with. That you're just playing here. If you're a chef, just have fun making food. You don't have to be in a hurry. They'll wait. And if your restaurant is crowded, you need another chef. You're there to take your time. Enjoy yourself. So you have an empty day and there's nobody business and you cook a little food and you're all okay. And the next time there's a full house, you can still cook the same way. You don't have to be in a hurry because everybody's sitting there waiting on their food.
they can wait.
They can wait. Yeah, I'm having fun here. No need to pressurize yourself because they're pressurized over not getting their food on time.
That's very good advice. Definitely be applied to
And
stressful
so
environment.
the businessman will say, "Oh, but you'll lose customers." The answer to that is, well, you've already got too many customers. It's a full house. You don't need so many. You're here to enjoy your life, not to hustle because things are busy. It's only those who are greedy for money that want you to hurry.
Very, very true.
Life can be really easy and fun when you take the work and the hurry out of it and just enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, it's funny because like when it's really busy, I don't enjoy it. And then when it's really quiet, I don't enjoy it. So like, when you ever gonna enjoy it? Just enjoy it no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's right. When it's really busy, you're really busy yourself on the inside and working and hard and all of that when you're full house. And then when it's empty, now you're worried about the money. There's nobody here.
You're
And
just
so
like, there's
you
nothing
wind
to do.
hmm and so you wind up being unhappy on all of the extremes. And the way to handle it is just be happy. Doesn't matter whether it's an empty house or a full house. In fact, I would prefer an empty house. Then we got nothing to do.
That's what I got down. It's great. Have Dharma conversations, just chill the day. It's good.
hmm So, what's next?
I think that's covered what's on my mind. And,
All right.
next is to apply it.
Well, practice well.
Yeah.
Practice. Remember, it's repetitive. You've been in the habit of feeling bad for all of these years. How many times have you felt bad in the past 10 years? 100,000 times? 3 million times?
Too many times.
Many times. So now it's time to practice being happy, being okay. You're well skilled at being dissatisfied. Now let's get well skilled at being satisfied. Practice.
That's the way. Because I mean, before I was doing like I was trying to do meditation. I wasn't doing this basic groundwork of just being happy now, and I feel like I would have ups and downs. It'd be good when the meditation was good, and then up, then down, and then up. But it just seems very level, very.
Right. That's why I generally do not use the word meditation, because it's loaded down with baggage in the West. Contemplations, wanting things out of it and whatnot, where the correct practice is, never mind, everything is okay. It's good enough the way that it is. Everything is okay, everything is fine. Let's have some fun here. That's the real practice, not meditation. Is to see all of those unwholesome thoughts and throw them out and say, oh, we're having a ball here. We're having fun here.
It.
Instead of saying, don't bother me, I'm having fun, you can say, oh, I'm having fun, you can't bother me. Only I can bother me, and I choose not to do that right now. So you go practice, and we'll see you later.
See you later. How? Sorry, just one quick. How do I join the Sangha calls? Because I couldn't find the link.
Which one, on Discord or on Skype or?
And any.
All right, uh, the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can go to any of the really latest videos, and it's got a full description.
Oh, it'll be the link will be in the description.
Yeah, all the links are in the description for every new video.
Okay.
Even the old ones, with some of the old links, they change and whatnot. So
Okay.
every time we change the settings for the default discussion, we keep adding stuff to it. And so
Okay.
we've got Skype, and we've got Discord, and we've got several other things, including the website and whatnot. So it's all in there.
Okay. Perfect. That makes sense.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.